Thank you.
There's anything you'd like to start out with? Otherwise, we'll just open up for questions.
Nope, I'm easy. I think I have an easy budget, so fire away.
Okay, we'll get started here. Who'd like to lead it off?
So we'll start treasurer, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
How many people are allotted and how many people filled?
Myself is partial for the treasury. I have one employee 100% funded for the treasury, and then my assistant's partially funded for the treasury, and I'm fully funded.
So you're each 50-50 in two different budgets?
We're not exactly 50-50 or 75-10, 60-40,
Okay.
yeah, with the 3.
All right, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have any real questions. I just want to comment on the fact that there's certain budgets where the variance is so incredibly, you just see like huge variances. In your particular budget, it's been consistent. Your actuals, your 4-year actuals are very consistent with what you're requesting now. So I just want to kind of compliment you on that.
Oh, thank you.
That, it's just steady, slow and steady wins the race in some respects. I understand
Right.
not all departments can do that.
Right.
Do you anticipate in your salary, your payroll, any kind of big things, anybody retiring, any?
No, it just would be my assistant and myself, and the gal that does the treasury, I think she's talking about retiring.
Yeah, tell her she can't.
I know. Her husband retired, so now she's anxious to do the same, but we'll see when she decides. Hopefully she'll give me enough
Because
time
it's
for
my
that.
understanding when you guys are preparing your budgets that you have to kind of anticipate some of those expenses that could happen.
Yes, and I did do that, assuming that maybe she would retire at the end of the year. I did ask the auditor to maybe calculate some vacation payout, if I'm not mistaken, on hers. I haven't heard from her that that's 100% going to happen, so and if it does, I'll have some salary savings there because she's definitely a tenured employee, so
Yeah,
be a little bit less at the end of the year.
that's all I had for treasurer.
Okay.
Okay, none on treasurer. Which one? Tax collector. Yes, lead us off with staffing and vacancies there.
I have my assistant, partial, myself, partial, my treasury lady, I give her a little bit towards it too because she helps answer phones, and then my county collections employee, I give her a partial. So we're just kind of blended. So there's 4 of us total, and we're all just...
No vacancies.
No vacancies at all. My
Perfect.
apologies, no.
Any questions on the tax collector budget? You have them?
Just a couple.
Sure.
On 20230 professional services, there's kind of an increase from around $6,000, which seems in line for the past few years, and now we're budgeting $31,000.
Right. With the transient occupancy tax program that we have now was something Dan created for us, and he doesn't want to have to maintain that after he retires. It's an Access database. It works great, I'm sad to say, but we do have the ability to get the module through our Megabyte program. They have a TOT module, so that was $25,000. So I included that in the professional services, but I did increase my revenue line for the, I believe it was the tax collector trust revenue line. I increased that by $19,100 to help offset the cost of that. Plus, our TOT went up about $300,000. So I feel like I had enough to compensate for the extra 5 I needed.
That's impressive. That's an impressive gain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my other question, was the revenue line. So thank you very much,
Sure.
Barbara, for being here to answer questions for us. We appreciate it.
The TOT, which I've never sad about, right? But we, year to date, which obviously can change, was close to
Yes.
800,000. You're anticipating we're going to get a lot more visitors next year. What's that based off of?
Well, I will say for the actual 24-25, the latest report I have is 757,000. We haven't closed out the 24-25, and I just did some calculations. And when I post that payment, probably in 2 weeks, or the auditor, excuse me, will have revenue of about 1.1 million. And so my assumption for the 1 million for 25-26, I think is pretty darn close. We haven't seen a huge influx of new accounts, but we're just a tourist destination. I think we're popular. I think the cost of the rentals have increased a little bit, just the average daily cost. It's just amazing how much
So is the
it's increasing.
TOT, what percentage is it? I don't stay here locally. But so like what percentage do people pay when they go to a,
For vacation rentals and hotels in Del Norte County, it's 10%, but 8% is Del Norte County's revenue, 2% goes to the harbor.
right, okay.
Yeah, so we're 8% to general
Can I
fund.
ask a question while you're on that subject?
Sure.
Is there anything within the vote that was taken that says we have to give that percentage to the harbor?
I don't have that ballot measure in front of me. I would assume yes, and I don't think it sunsets.
Are you referring to the 2% increase? Yep, in that measure, they're required to house the money with the treasury, and then they have a system that they draw down the funds through me from.
Oh, are you asking about funding it or asking
The
about?
2%?
Is it to the point where we couldn't take back that allocation?
Oh,
Yeah, it was passed with the parameters that it goes directly to the harbor. It helps pay off their loan
Was it passed
with the
with
state.
a simple majority?
when was that done?
Anyways,
Yeah, definitely.
It's
I
a
don't know-
question that was brought up to me recently, given all the stuff going on down there.
So I would say that, without pulling into all the details, that funding was dedicated, from my understanding and how we do it every year, it's been dedicated to help pay back the loan they had to take out in the 2011 tsunami, I think it was, to pay back the loan from the state. So that money, if the money's tied to the loan debt, in my opinion. So if the harbor were to be some other version of a harbor and still carried that loan debt, those funds could still be used to pay off that loan debt.
It's something to look into because I seem to recall, unlike the fair tax that passed, which was a supermajority, this one wasn't a supermajority that swung it into action, but I could be wrong.
What would be the difference? I mean, if it wasn't a supermajority, what do you feel would?
If the board wanted to,
Oh.
we could not allocate those funds toward the harbor. If we
Wasn't-
didn't
wasn't the-
feel,
I mean, that's kicking them when
Wasn't the
they're
fair
down.
tax,
Well, we could,
wasn't the fair tax required to
There's-
be a supermajority because it was a specific tax?
correct,
Like the,
correct, which is why I'm
for,
asking
for a
this question.
specific purpose, I
Yep.
meant, rather
Which-
than this, our TOT is just going into the general fund. So it's not,
But this
it's
wasn't,
not
as
earmarked
they
for
just stated, this wasn't for something specifically, the harbor. And so it passed with a simple majority, yet it was specifically allocated to the harbor.
you have to check, it was specifically tied to that payment. So every year, they're required to show me their payment they made to the state, show me the loan, show me they made it all, and then I reimburse them up to the amount. It's kind of like, so we have our Measure R funding. Our Measure R funding was also not supermajority. It was not dedicated 100% to public safety or anything. It was dedicated for all these items with the caveats of no supplanting, has to be a dedicated need for the county. So where you have some passage of taxes that has, like, Humboldt County does one specific for public safety, and that's where it goes 100%. Measure R was a little more general. I think this was general too, but there's still the parameters around the loans. We can definitely pull that. We'll need to pull that and verify, because like I said, it's a good question. That's got a lot of
Well, it's one I
potential.
would definitely ask council to look into if she ever had the time. It's just, I'm getting approached by a lot of folks that are very upset with the direction of the harbor and how money's being spent and allocated. So I just want to be prepared in the future in case something does go crazy, how that money could flow back into the general fund of Del Norte County versus the harbor. Thanks for bringing that up.
Speaking of the harbor, hopefully they'll get their head on straight and start using those RV parks for generating income, and we'll get some more TOT.
Would that TOT come to us?
2% is, goes directly to the harbor, and that's the
No,
only
no.
amount that we
What
can
what
collect.
Supervisor Short is saying, if they were to start renting out their RV parks,
The RV spaces would be the only thing that could be collected on for TOT, and it's 2%.
oh, I see what you're saying.
And
Oh,
that
you were
2%
answering
goes
it. Okay.
strictly to the harbor.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't get any of
So
it.
We wouldn't get any
TOT4,
TOT that was
Not
generated
on
in
the
the
space
harbor?
rents.
Not on space rents?
No, it was part of that initiative.
Oh, okay.
that would be, if you could, somebody could forward that to
Yeah, we
me
can ask
before my time.
Elisa for the measure and kind of read it and
So-
see what it was.
Thank you.
A little
Yeah,
birdie just told me that it was a simple majority and there's nothing that says it has to go to the harbor.
Well,
You
Interesting,
better read it. I just collect.
interesting little birdie.
Yeah, I think it has to.
Yeah, I mean, this, I believe, predates lots of us, but.
It doesn't predate
yeah.
me.
If,
I'll pull it. I think your birdie's a little mistaken. We'll find out.
but yeah, if we can, I mean, if someone can forward me the information, I can also hunt through the files within my office and see what we can find.
Okay, back to the budget.
just county collections.
Yeah.
Budget question.
I think we opened up something, which I love this. It's good conversation. It's kind of a dumb question, and if you're going to look at me like, oh my gosh, you're so dumb. But with the county collection, do we not get any of the fees on the money that we're collecting? Why is our revenue only $250?
So I know it's pretty sad. So county collections isn't what we think of as far as like tax collections. This is a department that was strictly, well, in the beginning for court fines and fees, restitution, public defender fees, those types of collections. There's a law that passed several years ago that eliminated any of those fees, administrative fees to be collected. When I do have to collect restitution, we can't collect on public defender probation accounts anymore. So all my referrals that come from the DA and probation are strictly restitution. None of that I can add any of my fees to, so I'm just doing a service.
But the service is for the courts in a lot of ways. Should the courts not help create some revenue for your office doing those collections?
The courts have their fees that they're allowed to collect on. It's completely separate from us. And with that law, it just eliminated any county, like public defender fees, I can't collect on those any longer. The probation, cost of probation reports, we used to be able to collect on those and we can't. So I don't get any revenue at all in very minor amounts of referrals for restitution, which is good, right? One thing I don't get a lot of, I'm not trying to be inconsiderate of animal services, but we don't see dog license fees any longer. Delinquent dog license fees we used to collect on. I haven't received anything from them in several years, and that is a revenue generator for my office for some administrative fees. And I think there's just transitions out there. I don't know why, but a lot of accounts we haven't seen come to my
So
office.
can we go into that a little bit more? I know I have to register my dog for $75 a year or whatever. Because I pay it and you don't have to collect from me,
Right.
that just goes straight to animal services.
Yes.
If I'm delinquent and you have to send me a delinquency notice, then you should get a portion of that administratively
Yes.
fee. Okay.
Yeah, annually, I used to get 150, 200 accounts to collect on, and I would be able to tack on my fee on top of the dog license fee and the late fee that would go to animal services. So that's why my admin fees do look a lot lower than in the past, even more so.
Oh, I'm not judging, but that's
But-
that since we did that switch, right? We took it out of agriculture and put it with the sheriff's department. Some things might have gotten lost in that transition. So I think it's worthwhile for us to kind of talk to them and see.
Yeah, you might ask them, because they're going to project their revenue, based on collections. Well, if it doesn't come to my office, we do get a lot of collections through my office for those, so it might be a good thing. It could just be a programming too. I mean, I know they have a new program that
And I
they're
do
working
believe they
through,
just
so-
recently tried to do all this online too,
Yeah.
where you can pay online now. So
yeah.
it's worth looking
Yeah.
into. And then my final question, which I've asked everybody,
Yeah.
is we have this big pot of money of, $50,000. I'm going down at the end, and it's some discretionary stuff that the board gets brought to and says, okay, we've got this much. How do you want to allocate it? Is there anything within your 3 departments or your 3 sub-departments that you can think that we need to know about, that we need to help you provide better services to the community?
I feel great about our office. We're a small office. I feel bad telling you this, but I have a lot of room in my office.
Well, perhaps a switch is necessary. If we remodeled across the hall.
I could do for some. I feel terrible that I do have plenty of room in my office. But yeah, we do great with our programs are great. I'm getting that new TOT program, which was all we need, and with the new ERP system, I wouldn't want to waste any taxpayer money on me. Give it to someone that's needy.
Okay. And I just want to say that you've got a hard job because most times it's complaints that come your way because people, well, you and the assessor, people get mad. But I'll tell you, I've heard nothing but compliments about people that came in to complain and how they were able to get their problems resolved from your office. So kudos to you and your
Yeah.
staff.
Just because we collect taxes, I really don't get a lot of negative, every now and then we'll get some customers that are grumpies, but that's my goal with my employees and myself is like, this has to be professional, the best customer service we can provide for the public. Like they're keeping our lights on and paying my salary. So nothing but professionalism from my office. So I'm happy to hear that. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Hefty.
They're always very cheery when they take my check for tax.
Okay, with that, we'll open up for public comment.
Oh, yep. No, she didn't have it.
Oh, we have one.
Norma again with the union. Obviously, TOT is a very popular subject all of a sudden. That's nice to hear. Yeah, because I know that's something that the union has looked at and has actually broached at one point. Something that we were looking at as well, noticing that ours is 10%, whereas Humboldt and Siskiyou is 12%. So I know that may not be very popular with some of the hotels and Airbnbs and vacation rentals, because I don't know what the impact will be on those owners. That could be negative, it could be positive. But then again, we are a tourist site here, especially with our rivers and our redwood and ocean. But still, I think it's something that you should consider. I think it would definitely be a whole lot more revenue, which is definitely needed here. When you're looking at 1.1 million estimated was what you predicted for final for 24-25, and looking at right now, which I think is a low number, 1 million estimated for 25-26. Could you imagine what it would be like if it was higher, if our TOT was more than just 10%? And I am kind of surprised that 2% does go to the harbor. Really? Okay. I just assumed it was all county funds that would come back to us solely, so I'm rather surprised about that. That's something you might want to take a look at, because again, if you do consider increasing it, I think we should get the whole pie. Just saying. Thank you.
Okay, close public comment, and thanks so much.